Hi, welcome to the Honey and Harry Show. I'm Honey,
I'm Harry.
and
We're doing our
our
first
live
live stream. Yes.
Yes,
Neither of us have done anything like this before. So it's an experiment, but going real time. So
yes,
we'll see how it works.
yes. Be patient with us.
Right. So for our first episode, we thought that we would just like to have you get to know us a little bit. And we thought of a good theme for that. And the theme we thought of would be, well, if we tell you some really embarrassing thing we did in our lives one time and how we survived it, that would be a way for sharing who we were. So we can build a little community between you and us. So that's what we're going to hope to do tonight. And so the theme is, don't let failure define you.
Yes. Okay, well, I'm a grandmother, a mother, right?
Yes.
We want to let them know who I am. Love my family dearly. Protector of all children.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm a husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather. So that just means I'm really old and I have a family.
So I guess what you want to talk about some of our failures that we've done?
Well, we're not going to dig too deep, but we're going to talk about some famous moments we've had.
Famous moments. I've had many famous moments. Dad's might have had one. Maybe one. I've had many. But which one you want to talk about?
I hear that you once went to work at a fast food place, behind the counter, behind the drive-through window. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. I had a great idea. Got my friend, Colleen. We were in high school. So let's go work at Wendy's. I think we're going to make a lot of money. They'll buy those Guess jeans I've been wanting. We're going to make a lot of money. So we decided to go work at Wendy's. And they put me on the hamburger, making hamburgers.
First day.
Well, I think I had a training day. I think we both had a training day. I think we did that. They put her at the salad bar, which was probably pretty easy. And they put me making hamburgers. Needless to say, it didn't work out. So I went in the back, and it was during, they put me to work during lunch hour, and I was doing good. And they were like, you have 2 different buns. You got to, whatever, do all this stuff. We got to put like lettuce, pickles, whatever. Well, I went back there after about 5 minutes. I said, no special orders. Everybody's getting what they're getting. And that's the way this is going to work today.
You were instructing the crew on day one.
From day one. So
this is good.
Yes. So it was a fiasco. I ended up getting fired. Well, they switched me in several different positions to work in. I failed at everything, but I couldn't even pick up a potato. Drive-through line, there were burger patties stuck to the side of the bags. I was just like, get the money, let's get out of here.
And the crew was taking orders from you?
I guess they were. I guess everybody was just listening to me. Needless to say, I got fired. Me and my friend both, we never went back. And that was a pretty big failure. I was even embarrassed to go pick up my check. I remember we both had a check there. And I was like, we were both scared to go get it because it was pretty embarrassing what I did.
So I've been lying and I'm asking for a hamburger with extra pickle, but no mayonnaise. Is that going to work?
No, you don't get that today.
Just today, I don't get that.
You don't get that today. That's no special orders. And look, here's the thing. Fast food workers, it is hard. You got to be nice to them. It is so hard. You're like getting all these, and people have such an attitude. I've never been treated so terribly by customers in my entire, I had a line of people yelling at me coming back in.
So they were coming around from the drive-through and then coming back into the store, or what?
Oh, yeah, and in the store.
Yeah.
So what about your failure?
Me? Well,
You're one. His one and only.
I have many. I'm just especially good at hiding my failures or making them into mini successes or something like that. But those of you who know me real well may remember some 20 years ago when I decided to quit a good job in the city, working for the man, making really good money, and become a teacher, a high school teacher. Well, my grandmother on my mother's side was a teacher for all her life, and she was like an inspiration to me. So she was, I was involved with her summers. I remember one summer when I was in fourth grade and she was teaching eighth grade summer school. And Mama sent me over there to be with Grandma. So I think it was to get me out of the house. But I know it ended up being interesting because I was answering the questions that the eighth graders in summer school weren't able to answer. So that's just to make a point of how connected with teaching I was. I worked with my grandmother with that a lot, and she taught till she was well into her mid and late 70s. So I said, I had worked at a industrial laboratory and decided I've done everything I want to do. I've done everything I want to do here. I've been everything I wanted to be there. I really don't have anything else I would like to do here, and I would like to teach. There was a little workshop we had during my time at the laboratory where we did something called motivated abilities quiz. Well, it's more like a profile. You built a profile of the things that you thought you were interested in doing. In some kind of way, they were able to drag, the core of you out of that report and figure out what you might want to go do. Now, of course, they were probably trying to keep us at the company, but I found out I was supposed to go be a teacher. So, that sat in me for about a decade before I actually ended up retiring. So I went through a program where they try to take people in a second career and turn them into teachers magically. Okay. So I must admit that I had only stardust in my eyes. I could just see, this is going to be so good. And I'm way overqualified for this. So it won't be hard at all, But I did get some friendly, low-key advice from a couple of brother-in-laws who were teachers in their career. And they suggested, you sure you want to do this? You really want to go be a teacher? I said,
I have to interrupt. Mind you, though.
What?
My friends, when we found out my dad was going to teach high school, we were like, ha, 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 this poor man. He couldn't even handle us in high school. Like, what? Like, what is this man thinking?
Well, you're right. If I would have had enough forethought and some really deep critical thinking on my own part, I would have said, is this really what you're going to be good at? Because you're really not particularly fabulous with young people, especially adolescent young people.
Like teenagers.
Yeah, teenagers, So, but I don't think they could have slapped going to be a teacher out of me no matter what they told me. I don't think. Although in my exit interview from the teaching experience, they asked me, well, what is something you would want us to tell potential teachers that you learned from the experience yourself? And I said, you've got to get through to them how hard this is to do. I said, teaching summer school for practice for a couple of months is not even remotely close to what the real thing is like. So anyway, get back to the story. I lasted one marking period. You had your one day at Wendy's, but I had only one marking period in teaching high school. And it wasn't because I didn't know the material, but it was because I couldn't manage a classroom. And that's probably, in this day and age, even 20 years ago, is more than half the game. You've got to be able to manage the classroom. And I couldn't manage one teenager, much less 25 or 30 6 times a day, So anyway, it was, I look back on it and remember it as a fabulous, fabulous learning experience, but only in hindsight, because it was painful while it was happening. But in hindsight, it was like, okay, I've just had the single most exhilarating, depressing, go from a high point to a low point failure in my entire life. And that helped me realize a lot of things, like, you can't do everything just because you think you want to do
Yeah, you're
everything.
not.
You
Yeah,
know, some skills you don't have, and
yeah.
you really need to figure out which ones those are. And maybe you can develop them, maybe you can, but in the heat of battle, that might not even be possible to do. An anecdote is that toward the end of my one marking period, uh, I walked into the classroom of one of the heroes who taught in this school, who knew how to do what they were doing, who probably had far less education than I had, but knew how to teach high schoolers, and I did not. And uh, this teacher said, here's what you need to do: use my lesson plan one day after I use it. Okay, I'll turn it in, I'll copy it and give it to you, and you can do it the next day.
Oh
And
god.
then maybe you'll finish out the marking
Oh
period. So
gosh.
the principal said I was doing a great job. I lost 16 pounds in 6 weeks. I
Gosh.
got up every morning at 4:30 and went to bed every night at 12:30. So it was not going to last. Anyway, it was a great failure. I learned a lot from it. One thing is I
Yeah.
can't control a classroom full of hormonal ninth graders. So
I mean, not many. I couldn't either. There's no way. But you are a teacher, and but
yes,
not in not in that setting.
right. So one of the things that I've learned, and I think some of us can learn, is that there are opportunities beyond our failures. And it turned out that my lovely spouse found a uh, job offering uh, right when I was leaving the high school thing, and I jumped on it. I was all enthusiastic. This will work, and I was a teacher in college for 20 years after that. Uh, and
And
so it was a opportunity that came after a great failure. So
and
anyway,
also so many kids loved you at LSU. But we lots of my children's friends had you as a
I loved
teacher.
them, and it was
Yeah.
so rewarding to see
It's
anybody
just
learn by something I was doing.
yes. Teenagers are hard.
Yes, they are.
Teenagers can be hard. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
So, what kind of things did you learn from your experience?
I learned to respect people that like not to get aggravated when you're in line and it takes long and just it's any job you do is hard. Everybody needs respect.
Right.
Everybody, and that's the biggest thing. You just have to respect, you know, the lowest of the lowest work, whatever they're doing. I mean, fast food for me was, it was hard.
Right.
It was so
Right.
hard. They should get paid way more money.
Right.
That was hard. And everybody yelling at you and people getting aggravated at you and people mean to you. And the drive through it wasn't fun.
Right.
So,
I remember an experience at a fast food restaurant where, uncharacteristically, I think, I really got upset at one of the persons behind the counter. And actually,
oh,
it was a manager who was working the counter. And I walked away, sat down at my table, and said, "That was wrong. That was wrong. That was wrong."
mhm.
And I went back and apologized to the lady, and we we built back what I had broken down by giving her a hard
Yeah,
time.
poor thing, I
Yeah,
mean, it
absolutely.
could have been your daughter.
Yeah, it could have been.
But I wouldn't have cared.
Right. So
I would have been like, get out of here.
yeah, you know, there's some great stories. I don't know the details of all of them, but there's this guy everybody's heard the name, Thomas Edison. Thomas
Yeah.
Edison is given credit for inventing the light bulb,
Mhm.
and uh, he worked on that a very long time, and he had mostly failures. In fact, somebody said to him, "How do you feel about all these that you haven't succeeded in anything?" And he said, "No, I've succeeded. I found 10,000 things that don't work." Okay, so but he was persistent,
Yeah. It's persistent.
persistent.
Always stay persistent.
Uh, I didn't have, I don't think, enough skills to persist in that high
Well, it
school
didn't. It
environment.
wasn't your fit.
It wasn't a good fit.
No,
Right,
it was
right,
not your fit. Everybody has a
right.
gift,
Yeah,
and that wasn't your gift was in
right,
college, and you really helped a lot of people
right.
in
And
college.
both of us have, you know, learned a lot from those things and went on.
Yes.
Another story that I heard is that, and a lot of people may know this already, but uh, Michael Jordan
Love Michael
was
Jordan.
cut from his high school basketball
Amazing,
team.
huh?
And then
Yes.
turns out to be, the GOAT, the greatest of all time, pretty much. But he even, if you never risk anything, then you don't have to worry about failure.
Yeah.
No, but
you
if
play
you
it safe.
if you decide to go try to do fast food and you've never done it in your life, that's
Or
a risk. You're taking
whatever
a
it may
risk.
be.
Or try to do the high school thing.
Whatever it may be.
And he did it again in his life later on, where he quit basketball and went to play baseball.
Yeah.
And he struggled mightily in playing baseball because there's such a thing as a curveball, and it's very hard to hit. And it turns out that everybody got on his case about not being able to hit a curveball. But towards the end of his baseball career, before he decided to come back to basketball, he was hitting the curveball and was averaging 300.
That's
So
crazy.
it's just
What can't Michael Jordan do?
Yeah. So
I
these are
know.
motivational things. So I'm guessing, sometimes we have a struggle to move beyond the failures that we've had.
Oh, it's scary. It's scary to put yourself out there. It's scary to keep trying when you keep failing.
Right.
That's no
Right.
fun,
Right.
And the last thing you need is somebody criticizing
Right.
when you're not doing good, because then it's just not nice,
Yeah. And does it help if you can turn down how much you care about what other people think about you when you fail? Is that something that?
That's a hard thing, I think, for a lot of people. I think people in general care about what people think of them.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I do to a certain extent. As I'm getting older, I don't care as much. Just
Yeah. Yeah.
After the menopause, really don't care as much.
Yeah. I had a.
But when you're young, it's so hard. It's so hard, and you just, it's just hard.
Yeah. Well, your ego is fragile at
Yes.
early ages.
Yeah,
and so
yeah.
you have to build up some self-confidence.
Absolutely. And what
Yeah.
your peers think of you and what other people think of you is everything.
Yeah. I had an interesting experience about not caring, but in a respectful kind of way. This was in the last couple of years when I was at the laboratory working in industry, and standing in the office with my boss, whom I like a lot. He was the one I respected most of all the years that I was there, and I don't know if you remember this, but I had a 17-inch ponytail at that time.
Oh my God. I was okay. That's when I was embarrassed of myself.
There you go.
I was like, God. I was like, what is he doing? Why and it was gray and it was thin.
It wasn't pretty.
And it wasn't cute. And you were like, I was like, I'm just saying, I would not, if I would have been your wife, I would have been like, this isn't going to happen. This isn't I don't know.
I think my wife bit her tongue a lot on that one, but
Mom
it was like my first chance to grow my hair long,
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
I think we'll have an episode later on
about long hair?
About men and hair and
well,
stuff
there's a
like
certain
that.
type of man that can pull off long hair, and you weren't that man, Dad.
I'm not that guy.
No, not at that age.
Yeah.
Not at that age. I mean, I don't know.
So anyway, I'm standing in his office, and I have my long hair there, and I've been working for him for about 4 or 5 years now, and he's in a more responsible position than I am, but I've been there a lot longer than he has in that facility. So the HR guy comes in and says, "What does your boss think about your hair? This is not consistent with the decor that goes on in the plant or the laboratory. What do you think the boss think about your hair?" And I said to him, "What's he going to do? Fire me?" And it's like I said it with all the peace in the universe that I really didn't matter to me what he did, because I was now confident in what I could do, But
Yeah, because you were so smart.
after many years and a lot of experience, so
Like nobody was going to fire you.
well,
Nobody was going to fire
not for
you.
having long hair.
No,
Anyway.
nobody was going to fire you. You're
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I know. See, I couldn't do that probably.
Anyway, so you gain some experience and you learn from your failures.
Oh gosh, yes, the hair. That was something.
Yeah. We could talk about that more in another
Yeah,
show.
another episode.
Right. So
Yeah.
what we wanted to remind people is that we will try to do a broadcast like this uh, each Wednesday. It's tentative right now, but we're going to try every week to have a broadcast on Wednesday at 7. And if you are subscribed to the channel and put notifications on, you'll be able to get a tick mark coming on your phone to let you know that we're ready to go live. We don't intend every show to be just Harry and Honey sitting here. In fact, we're going to work towards an interview mode where we have guests coming on. Honey knows a lot of people, and so we're excited about that, and we're going to get guests on. If any of you are interested, have a theme or a topic that you'd like to come on board for, drop us a line at the email address that's on the YouTube site. Our general idea of the things we want to cover in these sessions, these videos, is life, family, the culture that we live in, and faith. So in some way or shape or form, each of our episodes will cover some aspect of that. We're not, bringing brilliance in these topics to you. We're bringing life experiences, and we're going to have guests who have very interesting and hopefully motivating things to say about that as well.
And we want everything to be positive. We don't want to offend. We don't want none of the ugly, none of the negative. There's so much negative out in this world right now. I just want this to be, you quit watching it and you feel good.
Right.
You feel good about, whatever we talked about. Yeah, that's my main goal. Just there's so much garbage.
Right. So
much garbage out there.
We hope to move beyond just YouTube and try to get onto Facebook or Instagram or other platforms so that those who are not as comfortable with YouTube will still be able to see the show. So we'll work on that. The producer here is going to try to make it work, but this is almost beyond my scope of skills here. So we'll try to make it work for you as well. So
yeah. No, I'm just, and we have tons of, we'll have different topics. It won't just be us talking. We're going to have topics about different things. We've already discussed a few things that we want to talk about.
Yes, we've got a whole list of ideas, and we're working on a list of guests.
Yeah.
And please, in the comments, when you see them, when you have time for comments, let us know what you'd like us to talk about, too.
Yeah, if you have any
if you think
ideas.
We can weigh in on some of that.
Yeah.
So we thank everybody for coming to the show and for...
we're done?
Well...
I guess we are.
Harry stays
I know, you
more
said a
structured
lot.
than
I know, you've said
Honey.
it. I know, Honey kind of freaked out for a minute.
Yeah, but that's okay. So, by the way, we may have a topic, and the thumbnail on the YouTube video will tend to give you an idea of what we might start talking about, but we reserve the right to go off the rails and on a tangent or a rant or something else that we get started on. And Honey feels comfortable doing that. I will struggle with it a lot, but we'll have a lot of fun trying to get there as well.
Oh,
so,
what do you mean, staying on a certain topic?
Yeah, that kind of thing.
I've never stayed on a topic my whole life.
Yeah, so why start now, right?
Why start now? You're right. No, but there's lots of things. And failure is one of those things. I'm glad we talked about that because, I have kids and it's hard to watch your kids fail at things, and it's hard to, it's just hard. They put themselves out there and they, lots of times they do succeed, but there are times that they don't. And I'm glad, everybody fails, though. Everybody fails,
Right.
Even you fail.
Some of us cover our tracks a little
You
better.
do.
When I fail, though, I decide to go big. So.
Yeah, you go big.
Yeah, none of these little things,
That's true.
By the way, that's an interesting thing. I saw on a bulletin board one time, 50 years ago, and it says, if you wanted to succeed in business, manage a large failure. And I said, what kind of sense does that make? But if you go on and read the article, it says, managing a large failure, many years later, people only remember that you were in charge of a very large project. But if you manage a series of small failures, they remember that you were always a failure at everything you did. So there you go.
There you go.
It's okay to make a big failure somewhere.
Oh yeah. I mean, I mess up all the time, so I'm not really embarrassed too much of my failures. And they come pretty much every day.
Can you put that peace and lack of embarrassment in a little jar and then send it to me and put a label on it? Okay.
It happens all the time.
Because I would like to have more of that.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's just one of those things. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
Got to move on.
Yeah.
With it. So, but anyways.
Okay, so the theme will change from the orangish colors as the fall progresses, and
did they see the Halloween guy?
Expect Honey to maybe show up with some fashion advice and some themes for the fall and for Christmas as it gets closer.
I love a holiday outfit. Love holiday sweaters. Love holiday anything.
Anything, right? Exactly.
Anything holiday, I love. It's all fun. So, yeah, but we got all of our little stuff in here, and got our little saints and Mary watching us over here, and
let me see if I can get you on there so we can see Mary up there.
Yeah, we got Mary, we got Saint Michael watching us, we got Jesus, and we got Mr. Odie.
Odie, who's
he's
our profile master.
Oh
so,
no.
Oh.
Yeah, Odie. He's dead, but he's here in spirit.
Someday I will put together either a tour of the studio. It's in a very small space, but you'd be amazed at what is stuck in here in order to
it is amazing.
Try to pull this off. We have, in fact, 3 iPads operational, 2 cameras, 2 computers, and a whole lot of other stuff. So we'll give you a feel for that as the stream goes on in the future.
Yes.
Anything else you'd like to add, Honey?
I don't think so. Just, I'm glad we got to try it out for the first time.
And we got through episode 1
And we
here.
got through, a short little introduction. We're not going to call this an episode. We're going to call this a short little introduction.
Okay. And we haven't seen the comments yet, so who knows what we're going to be facing.
Be nice on the comments. Please don't be ugly.
Right. Right.
Yeah, so I think as we get used, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's really going to be cool. So
we're glad you were here.
Yes,
and,
thank you for
I hope to
watching.
see you next week.
Yes.